So I felt it was time that we started doing a podcast on my opinion of Steven Universe the movie. Yes, this will contain major spoilers to the movie that came out back in 2019, so if you haven't seen it, go see it already. I believe it is such an amazing movie. So today I'll be listing 10 things that I really enjoyed about it. So let's move right into it, but before I do, I will be saying what I liked about it, but I actually just watched the play. Yes, the play. I don't mean the movie. I actually just watched the play that you can search up on YouTube, the Morehead State University Steven Universe the movie, the musical, which is actually made by different people. It was a play, and it was absolutely fantastic. I actually just watched it, and that's why I decided to do this video. This is our first ever podcast, so we'll go over it. So, what I decided about this is that Steven Universe the movie, the main setup and everything like that. From a summary, the summary is where, after 2 years of saving the universe from the wrath of the Diamond, Steven Universe and his friends Amethyst, Garnet, and Pearl live their happily ever after lives. After finding out that there's a new foe coming to town, they must save the world or it will be destroyed by this new foe. They don't know who she is or what she is capable of. So that is technically the summary of the movie, a very short movie. Movie summary. You can actually go watch this movie on HBO Max, the movie, and watch the play on YouTube. It is actually pretty accurate. So, after watching the movie back in 2019 when it came out, I figured it was such a great movie that I actually kept re-watching it because of how great it was. So I decided to keep on watching it, re-watching it, and noticing everything different every time. I keep noticing different things, different Easter eggs, and nostalgic memories from the show that came out before it. Yes, there was a show for 5 seasons. Then they made a horrible season 6 Steven Universe feature right after the movie. I'd be happy if they left it at the movie. So I will be going from 10 through 1. First off, the characters that are in it. There are technically some of the same characters that were in it, like Steven and the other crystal gems. Bismuth, Lapis, and Peridot are in it. Jasper, who was one of the main antagonists for a few of the seasons in the show, was not in it, surprisingly. Actually, we don't see a lot of her. We actually see her in a flashback, kind of. And we don't know with a little bit of her. Like, we don't know where she is until Steven Universe Future, where we learned she was, kind of hiding in the woods. It's very weird. Whatever. The characters that are in it. So Bismuth is in it. Everything. Connie was in it for like a few minutes. Barely any screen time. But who was in it? Greg was in it, and everything that you can remember. Even the Heaven and Earth Beetles were in it. Rose and Pink were in it, but mostly just in flashbacks. And a few other characters like the Diamonds and their Pearls and everything like that. And even a new character named Spinal. But we'll go over her in a second. So that was definitely the characters in it. I'm glad that they all came back. That's what I really loved about it. I'm so glad they got to come back and have one more time to be in this wonderful movie and witness everything that goes on in it. Number 9, the follow-up. So, obviously, this happens 2 years after the show. In the show, Season 5, last episode of the show, which didn't end, Steven Universe didn't have a neck. He was 14 years old, and he didn't have a neck for some reason because the Cartoon Network, the productions, had very big trouble designing his neck for the show. So they actually gave him a neck for the movie. I like the shadowing in the neck and everything like that, just the characters itself. But with the follow-up, this is 2 years after. Steven has grown. He is now 16 years old, and he is definitely looking different. He's taller, wears a different kind of jacket, and his red shirt with the golden star on it is no longer there. Whatever, though. But it's so great to see everyone who has changed. Connie has changed. If you can look back at her, Connie has definitely changed in a way. She's much taller, too, as the shorter hair is remembered. And she feels more matured. Like, I can see that in here. Bismuth is definitely different. She changed her outfit a little bit. Also, with Peridot and Lapis, their outfits changed in the last season. Same with the other crystal gems like Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl. We don't see anything else different about the Diamonds. The Diamonds are still the same. But Spinel is a new character that we learn of with a very unique looking outfit. As we can look at Spinel has a cartoonish looking look. She is pink, and she is lovable, in my opinion. but that's just her evil form. If we go to her normal, beautiful form, that form is really just like a kid version of her. She has hearts in her hair, which is adorable. She has a heart-shaped gem piece on her chest where her heart is. Adorable, really big eyes, and a wonderful grin. And that's what I really like about Baby Spinel. Everyone calls her that, and I really like it. But that's the thing about Spinel. She was really cute until we learned what happened to her. And then she turns into the newer Spinel, which has these crazier headpieces on, like sort of like eyeshadow lines, like if she were crying, they were going down, and the heart is upside down. And she has a more demonic, evil-like look, which I like. The nostalgia. If we can remember from most parts of the show, we can see lots of different things that were in the show that are now in the movie, but barely get anything in him. Like, we see different monuments and everything like that. It's very weird, but I actually kind of like it. I see everything in there. We can see Connie's old sword. We can see everything. The old gun that was used by Steven Universe in that few episode where he shot Mayor Dewey, and that was a while ago. But still, you could see everything from the show. Different paintings, different architects, everything. The whole house is new because Bismuth rebuilt it. So I really like that. I like the nostalgia in it. It just reminds you of Beach City. Like, everyone has changed in a way, but maybe the place hasn't. We can even see different parts of different houses, actually. From the old show, if we were to look at that one scene where Steven finds Amethyst in the art studio, that's the same place where Amethyst and Fidelia would actually hang out all the time, that one episode with Onion. Would you remember that? And there's a few other things you could see in there that you can remember, like the big donut, everything like that. Lars is in there, and he's selling a few different things now, and he's all pink and stuff like that, which is all new, but I like it. So, we're going to go on to number 7. Everyone is still the same with their voices. Everyone. And that's what I like. Zach Callison, who voices Steven Universe, is now all grown, which I like. And I like how he kind of grew with the character. He grew with this sort of, like, the character grew, and now you just hear it in Zach Callison's voice. He's no longer this high, squeaky kid. He's now this, like, kind of young adult, like Amethyst says. What do you think of that? Everyone has the same character voices. Pearl, Garnet, everyone. And what I even liked about Spinel, she was voiced by Sarah Stiles, who I will get to in a little bit, which actually fits the role of the character. And that's what I really like about it, actually. I think it's the perfect role for Spinel. Number 6, the visual effects. So, from the beginning of the teaser trailer, even to the end of the movie, we see so much in just everything about, like, these little details you could see. The little shines and sparks, little, like, hints and details and foreshadowings to what is now known as Spinel. We know everything we see. We see hearts, Spinel. In the teaser trailer, we see a heart flipping around. What does that look like and sound like? Spinel, but we didn't know that yet. When I first saw the teaser trailer, I didn't know who that was. I didn't know who she was, what she wanted, and what she was doing with Steven and the other crystal gems. But now that we notice different hearts around and maybe upside down hearts, we can realize that it's kind of a message that this heart is Spinel and that's her gem piece. And I seen a few posters the other day, and I might get one, that showed a picture of a black paper. It was just black background, but with the heart of Spinel. It's like the ominous effect of Spinel, like that she's coming down to Beach City to take it over. Stuff like that. I like that idea. Number 5, we're going to go with the cinematography. So, throughout the entire film, we see different parts of Beach City, but not just Beach City, like in space, not in space, everywhere. And it's just beautiful. Because it's a cartoon movie, it has more detail and better shadowing and everything like that, better artwork with the budget and stuff like that. So it looks really nice. Everything we see, even on the train scene with the Amethyst, Steven, and Spinel just singing on the train, it's still beautiful. The beautiful sunshine and everything like that. And I feel even the top of the injector that Spinel brought in, it was just beautiful just to look at it. It's this beautiful pink machine that you really don't know what it is. It's just this big machine, and it's amazing just to look at. It's beautiful. I felt like that as well when Spinell and Steven were fighting on top of it towards the end of the movie. So I thought that was great. Number 4, the message. So there's a few messages actually in this movie. I'm gonna go over just a few of them, but it can actually relate with certain characters. From what I can realize with Steven, there's no such thing as happily ever after. I've learned this several times, and I hope he learned this too. Like, there's no such thing as happily ever after. There will always be something. Because if you can remember, obviously, like I said in the beginning of the video, spoilers, Steven thought he was having the happily ever after he dreamed of in the beginning of the movie, and then Spinell came in. That wasn't the happily ever after he dreamed for, and it didn't mean he was going to get it either. During the show, the Steven Universe Future, there was no happily ever after. There was definitely no happily ever after. Steven wasn't happy, and you can obviously tell. So that was the message for him. Spinell's message is just like, for most people, it's like, if you abandon something, it's going to change even though it's still there in any way. That's just for like everyone. That's not even Spinell's message. I don't even know why I said it's Spinell's message. That's for everyone else. You abandon something, it may still be in the same place, but it's still changing. Like that one episode and song from Adventure Time, Everything Stays, made by Rebecca Sugar. What do you know? That's crazy. So, number 3, the new story. What I really liked about this, I mean, there were some things that weren't changing in this, but what I did like that was changing in it is the story. This is a little bit different than we can remember in the show. In the show, normally Steven has help with his friends, the Crystal Gems, and they go out and they fight gems that need to be saved. But this time it's the complete opposite. Actually, when you think about it, it's totally the complete opposite. Steven is all alone. The gems got poofed and they lost their memory because of Spinell. So, because of that, Steven had no one to help. No one had help. Like, he didn't have any help. And the new story was he wasn't saving gems. He was saving the world from Spinell's machine. So, it was just a new story of, like, Steven being, like, he had to be the hero again. He didn't have help, and he had to do this on his own, but that's what I really liked about the story. Steven went through so much struggle, but in the end, he ended up making it because he learned the valuable lesson of himself, that things change. And that's the whole story of Steven. Things change. For number 2, the music. We are getting close to the end, but this is one of my favorite parts, the music. This movie was a musical, and I absolutely loved it. I normally don't like musicals. You can't really take me to a Disney movie and say, oh, you're gonna like this movie. But this was amazing. This was a really good, like, music. There was so many great things I actually put on my playlist. Like, I have so many favorite songs, like Drift Away, or True Kind of Love, Other Friends, or just Happily Ever After, the end version. So, obviously, when I first watched the movie, like, back in 2019, I was really upset because I didn't really know any emotions back then because I was little. But now I know a lot more. So, from the music of Drift Away, after, like, realizing it after watching it several times, I realized that how sad it was. I didn't really understand why it was so sad until I kept watching it over and over again, realizing about what happened to Spinell. And that's just what's so sad about it. And Drift Away was sad. I'm not going to lie, it's the saddest part of the movie. Probably one, in my opinion, one of the saddest parts of all of Steven Universe, in my opinion. But all the songs were great. True Kind of Love had a great beat. I really liked it. Other Friends was also great. Had a good rhythm to it. Get you singing it with Spinell, which is kind of cool. And Happily Ever After towards the end, it just makes you kind of get the chills. Has a bitter ending, but it's so nice to see that, like, Steven's finally happy. And I wish they kind of ended the movie and the series off of there. I would have been happy anyway, because, like, the future was okay. And then we get to the number 1. Spinell. Yes, you all probably knew this was going to happen. I didn't really mention a thing about Spinell. So, who is Spinell? So, if we can remember from the beginning of the movie, Spinell is this character that just shows up on a giant machine called the Injector. and we don't know what she's doing. She has a cartoon-like appearance from the 1930s rubber hose animations, which is sort of like stretchy-like characters that are like animal-like, but Spinel is definitely not animal-like. Spinel is stretchy, and she has these long limbs that can reach as long as she wants, and she easily took out the crystal gems with a weapon called the Rejuvenator. The Rejuvenator is a weapon that was used on Homeworld to take down other gems and poof them back until their former self. So they started over their whole life. So that was technically what Spinel hit them with. And what I really liked about Spinel is that the whole character of the evilness that she put into it. Sarah Stiles herself, which I'll get to in a second, put the character into Spinel. Spinel is an evil character for most of the movie until we learn that she doesn't want to be the bad guy, and she's just really sad and upset and has trauma because of what happened to her. And I can understand that. So, what we can remember, Spinel gets hit by the Rejuvenator too, but she resets back to this playful character. Like I said before, the description of what this character looked like. And she turned into Steven's best friend. And we're all confused at the beginning of the movie because we're like, what does this mean? Because someone is literally like Steven even though they just tried to kill him. So it was pretty weird. But we soon get little foreshadowings throughout the movie, that means that something happened to Spinel. When Steven went to go find Amethyst, he let go of Spinel's hand, saying that she could stay here with the others, and Spinel kind of went evil for a second. She actually, yelled at Steven, saying no. And she had these evil eyes and evil teeth just baring, and it was weird. I saw it, another time, and I was like, oh, what could this mean? Another foreshadowing. At the party for the Disobedience song, when everyone is flying away in the band together, when everyone's flying away, all of Spinel's friends, it's sad because Spinel was the only one left, and we still don't know what happened to her. Until Pearl says that she hasn't seen her in 6,000 years, which is a little peculiar. Why would she be gone for 6,000 years? We learn the story that Spinel was Pink Diamond's little playmate that would hang out all the time on Pink's garden. So when Pink was upset, Spinel was always there to make her happy. But unfortunately, one day, Pink got her own colony and decided to leave Spinel on the garden because she thought she was too much of a distraction. So she left her on the garden to stand very still and saying that it was a game. It ended up that Spinel stayed on that garden for 6,000 years, and she never left. Like I said before, you can leave something and it can still stay there, but it changes. And what we see throughout the Drifts Away song, in the beginning, Spinel was happy, she was smiling through it all, she was clean and everything like that at the beginning. And then throughout time, she changed. Her hair got messed up, her smiling face turned into a frown, and then by the end of it, when Spinel finally realized that Pink Diamond is gone, she was disgusting. She looked gross. Her hair was all messed up. There were vines wrapped around her on her legs, and there was no smile to her face. It was just her lifeless eyes just staring into your soul. Not in a scary way, in a kind of a sad way, because I felt really bad for Spinel that she was just left here and she just looked like a doll standing there, and she definitely changed. The happy color that was on her was now gray. And she's like an abandoned toy. That's the best example of Spinel. She's an abandoned toy that was left in a garden for so long, but she changed in a way. And when you're rewatching the first show, it's hard to forget that Spinel is still on that island, on that garden, when you're watching the entire show. Every episode, she is in the garden, which is horrible, in my opinion. But I really like Spinel's character. Honestly, Sarah Stiles, freaking amazing. So some people that don't know Sarah Stiles, she's the one that voices Spinel. She's a wonderful woman that has curly hair, and she actually was in a few plays, but she is actually very beautiful when it comes to singing. She is amazing with her amazing voice that sounds like a cartoon-like character that Rebecca Sugar picked up. So when Sarah Stiles first got introduced to Spinel, she didn't know a thing about Steven Universe. and she just ended up liking the character, and I don't blame her. And she ended up enjoying the character. What I liked about Sarah Styles' voice is that, like, she added the cartoon, like, adorable appearance to Baby Spinell, and then she added the evil tone to Spinell, which was terrifying. Because one scene in the movie, actually, where Spinell was holding Steven above, like a 300-foot drop or something, a 400-foot drop, and was just staring at him. The death stare on Spinell got me, and it always gives me the chills, but it's in a good way, because, like, it's just a cool-looking stare. She's just looking at him in hatred and spite, and she just wants to hurt him. But other than that, Spinell is such a great character. I feel like she had a great story. I always felt bad for her. I felt like she added one of the worst in the show. Like, it was just horrible for Spinell. But I love Spinell's character. I felt like she actually brought the entertainment to the movie. Without her, that movie would have been going downhill, in my opinion. But that's why Spinell was so good into it. So, I'm going to go into one thing that I didn't like about the movie. I could go on with 100 things that I liked about the movie, but I just listed the top 10. So I'm just going to go with number one, only one, about the one thing I didn't like about the movie. That was Steven's choice. Yes, you're probably confused right now. So, Steven sings a song to Spinell to cheer her up called Found. And we soon realize that Steven is trying to tell Spinell to come with him to Earth, so obviously she can stop the injector, because I'm pretty sure that's all he wants. He doesn't really care. But he says that she's going to be found by someone, like a new friend. But the problem was, he never said that he was going to be her friend. He never said that I will be your friend. He said someone would. So that's what I didn't like about the movie. That's probably why, in my opinion, why Spinell snapped and just turned back into her normal angry self and turned on Steven. Because he never said he'd be the best friend. And then he never said it in general in the movie. That's what I didn't like. It doesn't mean I hate Steven. I just hated what he said. But whatever. It still ended. I wish the diamonds really didn't take Spinell. I actually kind of wish he stayed with the crystal gems, because in my opinion, like, going with the diamonds that constantly remind you of Pink Diamond, like, come on, that's a little weird, but whatever. So that was my opinion on the movie. I hope you all enjoyed this. Obviously, go watch the movie, watch the play. I freaking loved it. It was so good. It had such a great story, like I already said. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, like sort of our first podcast, in my opinion. But I hope you all enjoyed it. So please like down below. We'll be doing another review video soon. I hope you all enjoy the movie. If you are to watch it on HBO Max, like I said before, which is the only spot where you can technically watch it, or on Cartoon Network, or you can watch the play on YouTube. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and comment down below if you enjoyed this, and please let me know your thoughts about what you liked about the movie. Take care, everyone, and have a happy Thanksgiving.